My topic is basically sleep paralysis. And have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and you basically don't feel your body? You're completely paralyzed and all you can do is just breathe and see with your eyes. And you see something weird and it feels just wrong. Have you ever experienced that? But for some people who didn't have this very little simulation, it doesn't do justice what sleep paralysis actually is, but it's something. Oh, okay. Try to breathe heavily so you understand what it is. And if you get too scared, close your eyes. But this is not scary, so just. Okay. This doesn't do justice to what sleep paralysis actually is. But there are episodes like this, and initially what sleep paralysis actually is, okay, let me start with my story first. So my initial episode of sleep paralysis was when I was 5 years old. I was just sleeping and then I hear this noise, and it doesn't make sense. It feels like someone is screaming like very creepy background music, and my initial thought is, oh, my sister just left the TV on again. And I know that it's impossible to wake her up at night, so I was like, oh, let me just get up and turn off the TV. And then I try to get up, and I can't. I cannot move, I'm completely paralyzed. And at this moment, weirdly enough, I decide to open my eyes. And oh boy, I hope I didn't. The first thing I see is this wicked witch, and her eyeballs are basically like moving around. And at the same time, they're so focused on me, I feel terrified. And she has this like Cheshire cat smile, which I would be happy to see if it was the actual Cheshire cat, but it wasn't. And now the noises kind of make sense, and I understand that they're not background noises, they're in my head. And my initial thought is, oh my god, I'm seeing a ghost. And I tried to scream for my parents, I tried to cry, but no sound would come up. And then I try to move, and then I'm paralyzed. And then this wicked witch is basically laughing at me for not being able to do anything. And then the louder she laughs, the louder in my head goes, please go away, please go away. And then as time passes, she starts fading away little by little, and I start to gain control of my body. And at that moment, I feel terrified of what happened to me. I don't know what to do. And as no 5-year-old would probably do, I stayed in my bed, trying to make up scenarios of what the ghost will come back, and what would I do? Would I fight it? Would I call for someone? But I tried to stay in my bed in case the ghost come back and my sister would be attacked by it. So little did I know at that time, there was no ghost. It was just sleep paralysis. And our ancestors believed that sleep paralysis is actually the presence of an evil spirit sitting on your chest, trying to scare you away and giving you difficulty breathing. In folklore or different religions, sleep paralysis, evil creature, was actually explained as a devil in Christianity, or in Muslim cultures it's called shaitan. But there is a scientific explanation of what sleep paralysis actually is. So initially what sleep paralysis actually is when your body is sleeping and your mind is sleeping, you're going through different types of sleeping, which are like REM, rapid eye movement, and non-REM, which is non-rapid eye movement. Non-rapid eye movement is the sleep which you're going through when you're like actually sleeping, you don't see anything, and that's when your body gets rest. But rapid eye movement sleep is the sleep when you're actually seeing dreams. And during rapid eye movement, those functions work. First is cortical activation. Cortical activation is when your brain actually acts as a producer of a dream. Second is sensory blockade. Sensory blockade is responsible for you not seeing and not smelling and not hearing anything while you're sleeping. And the last and most important thing is muscular paralysis. Muscular paralysis basically keeps your body still as you're sleeping. And what happens during sleep paralysis is, in between switching those REM and non-REM, your body stays asleep, but your mind starts waking up. And at that moment, those two, cortical activation and sensory blockade, are turned off, but muscular paralysis is the thing that's working. So that's why you are completely paralyzed. And the only thing you can control are your lungs, and all the energy goes into pressuring your lungs to keep breathing. That's why you can have difficulty breathing. And hallucinations, as the one you saw in the simulation, hallucinations come from your body understanding that you have to go back to sleep, and now the cortical activation comes back to work, trying to make you see dreams, trying to put you back in sleep. It won't make you anything. It's completely harmless. The only thing you could do is just cost you some sleep at night. And actually, that's one of the main causes of sleep paralysis: sleep deprivation, stress, mental and sleep disorders, and substance abuse. And going through this since I was 5 years old, I tried to come up with options, and all I could do, and what probably all of us would do when we need a specialist opinion, I Googled how to treat sleep paralysis. And Google basically gives you different options on how to avoid sleep paralysis, but there's no treatment. So one of the ways to avoid it, just breathe. Just keep on breathing calmly, so you won't get into any stress. Try to think of good things, happy memories. Try to sing a song, pray, I don't know, make up the whole SpongeBob episode that you really like, because it keeps your mind off those bad and stressful emotions that can cause you to have hallucinations. And last but not least, what I always do, I never open my eyes during sleep paralysis since that episode. Because if you open your eyes, seeing pitch black room can actually trigger your stress emotions, and those stressful emotions can bring you back to going into hallucinations. And what I want to tell to you is, basically, when you're having sleep paralysis, just hang on, and try to not let it get to you, and don't be afraid of it, because it's completely harmless. And don't be afraid to go to sleep as I did when I was 5 years old. Don't try to fight the ghost. Be more curious about it. Try to find ways how to cure it, and try to understand why it is like that. Because at the end of the day, it's just one of your body's very, very unique traits. Just be curious about it, and don't remember, just keep on breathing. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation, and for the agenda, first of all, I want to ask you those, as you see on the bottom, it says additional questions. Can anyone who said yes for I have had sleep paralysis at least once in my life, like that? Yeah, hold your hands up. Okay, we have pretty much most of the part of the class. And who had experienced sleep paralysis more than once in their lives? Okay, so my initial question is, what theory do you believe in more? Is it more of a paranormal, the devil, the evil creature, or the scientific explanation?
I believe in the scientific explanation.